Also, just to touch on this comment from LS Mark, which a lot of people took seriously, this comment right here is a joke, because Mark actually copied my channel. I mean, look at his profile picture, look at his banner, look at his videos, they look exactly the fucking same.
Fuck it. If I copy Tom, then I might as well go all the way. My name is LS Mark, the guy who made two videos about Storytime Animators that about 50,000 people saw. Maybe I should have put some names in the title. So a few popular animators commented on the video, which was really neat to see. I got messaged on Twitter by someone, more on that in a bit, which was also really cool. And the video received thousands of comments, so we've got a lot to unpack here in this comments section and the response to the video overall. If you haven't seen my last video, then I would highly recommend that you go and watch before you watch this one for some more context, but it's not really necessary to enjoy this video. Then again, this is where I make a funny self-deprecation joke, but I acknowledge it, which makes it all okay. So Sugar left a comment basically talking about how the genre will eventually dry up because you don't have unlimited life stories to tell, and how none of them actually want to be artists yet just do it because it's a job for them. There's not much to talk about here and I basically agree with everything. Next we have Infamous Swoosh, who agrees with most of the points I made yet doesn't think all of them relate to him, and then ends it with asking me if I ever want to have a DM with him on Twitter, then he's down with it. I don't like initiating conversations on Twitter, so I don't know how that's gonna go. Finally, we have Look or Something, which I was most surprised to see, saying that he's been focusing on the animation for his next video, and ends up by saying just because he's 13 doesn't mean that people can't give him constructive criticism. I was sort of expecting him to just sort of ignore the video. I'm surprised by how mature he handled it all.
Which I find very odd, because James follows channels like LS Mark.
Whoops. So yeah, after I uploaded the video, the Odd One's Out on Twitter unfollowed me, and I asked him what he thought of the video, and 2 days later I got a reply. I'm not going to show the DMs, but I'll basically summarize what he said. First, to all the people saying, wow, James is such a good sport doing a line in this, I can't believe he actually decided to do it, that's very nice of him. If you're one of the people, like I was in the video, saying how cool it was of James to voice a line in a video, not being the nicest towards his community, if he could go back, he wouldn't have done the line. James thinks calling someone lazy is a bad criticism, because everybody works at their own pace, and calling others lazy because they don't lip sync or animate is hypocritical, because I don't do it either, which, you know, I thought I explained that in the video, but maybe James didn't watch it like the last one. That's a joke, obviously, he did watch it. In the video, I think it's the first point I brought up whenever I was talking about animation. I say, I don't care if someone doesn't animate, but if they don't animate yet still refer to what they make as animations, then I have every right to call it lazy. I acknowledge in the video that you should not call what I do animation, because it's not. He says I can call it bad animation, but I would also have to acknowledge what I make as bad animation, which no, I'm not going to acknowledge what I make as bad animation, because it's not animation at all. And then the rest of his points were mostly directed towards Look or Something and what I said about him. First of all, he compared me to Leafy, and that I was bullying a kid, and then immediately goes back on it saying I wasn't actually bullying him, but I was harsh. Like I said in the video, I don't care if I'm harsh towards him just because he's a kid. I really don't care about age. I wasn't even that harsh towards him in the video. I said his videos are alright, and I wish to see him improve. Yes, I called his animation lazy, because it is lazy. I'm not going to skip around these issues just because he's a kid. Yes, Look can still receive criticism, but you shouldn't hold his work to the same standards as someone like me or Jane for being younger. And that's why I never once compared his animation to anybody. I looked at Look's content on his own, looked at the animation of his videos on their own, and came to the conclusion that it looked lazy. And he didn't like the use of the word absolute epitome of laziness, which he seems to think me calling it the epitome of laziness was in regards to the video as a whole, which no, it wasn't. I think the script was fine, although we could have done with less memes in place of jokes. Like I said in the video, Look's stuff outside of the animation is alright. Whenever I called his video lazy, that was in regards to the animation. I'm not denying that he spent days on that video. I never once said he just decided to throw it out there. But if I look at the final product, look at the animation, see that there's almost none of it, then I have every right to call it lazy. One common thing, this isn't just from this video, this is also from the other Storytime video, I just never acknowledged it until now. Tons of people kept asking me why didn't I mention Swoozy or Domix, and that's because they weren't really necessary to mention. Tons of people think I referred to the Odd Ones Out as the person who started Storytime Animations, where no, I never said that. I said he's the one that popularized them, he sort of let it all blow up, which I think is completely true. One comment I got a lot was about the smear frames that I added to Luke's video, and saying what I did wasn't actually smears. So here we have the flash file that I used to animate the part of Luke's video. Here is the part where I added in the smears, and this is all done in like a total of 5-10 minutes, so it's really not that hard to add smears into a video. So let's see what I did that people call not smears. So this is the part where Luke comes up. That's very clearly smear frames. Those are just movement lines, or motion lines. I don't know what they're called exactly, but they're just to show that his arms are coming back down. And because it would be sort of hard to smear this frame, I noticed that Luke doesn't really do a lot of easing in his animations. Like the hand just sort of launches up there and stays. It doesn't like bop up a bit and then go back down. So I decided to add in a couple little bounces there with the lines. Again, I'm not a master animator, nor did I claim to be, so I don't know the correct jargon for all this stuff. Then you've got infamous Swoosh pulling his head back. And this isn't really motion lines, this is just him sucking in a bit of air. I thought it would look nice. So he sucks it in, and then he bops his head down with the motion lines. I'll acknowledge that the motion lines aren't exactly the same as a smear, but for some things like this, where a smear wouldn't really be possible, I just decided to use motion lines. I'll acknowledge that I could have added in a smear here, but I still think the point stands. Here we have Jake Neutron, which I didn't know of his channel until I clicked on it and went like, oh fuck, he's actually got 100,000 subscribers. As an animator, I think the whole thing about saying animation storytime vloggers with much more limited motion aren't making real animations is kinda dumb. Feels like splitting hairs. It's still a set of sequential images in order for an audio-visual medium. Okay, let's rephrase it then. When I'm referring to something that someone makes isn't an actual animation, I'm referring to the people who just have still frames and just throw them together with no movement in between them. They switch between still images, and I know still images are still animation. That's what animation is, it's the movement between still images. It's like, yes, okay. But when you take 10-second breaks between each still frame, that does not give off the illusion of movement. It gives off the illusion of, oh, you switched a picture. But if somebody animates, but it is very limited, it's still an animation, yes. Although I will call it a bad and limited animation. I also see people saying that animatics are only animatics if you plan on completing them later. That's hilarious. And inaccurate. Because many animatics both on YouTube and the industry never get fully animated, and maybe never will, either because they were scrapped or were never meant to be. That completely goes against what you said here, either because they were scrapped. An animatic that was scrapped was most likely meant to be completed later on. That's the reason it was scrapped. Let's look up, since he says it's inaccurate, let's look up the definition of an animatic. A preliminary sequence of shots, images, or sketches that is filmed or arranged, usually with the soundtrack and viewed to determine its effectiveness before being finalized. What? I thought Jake Neutron says they were not, just because they don't have to be completed. What? Oh. The final step before the material gets sent off is an animatic. The animatic gives the producers a chance to see how the drawings and voices work together. Oh, so does that mean it's just a plan to see how the final animation will look? What-oh. That goes against what Jake Neutron says. Uh-oh, I'm fucking tired today, I'm sorry. Another thing that people had a disagreement with was me being confused by them being introverted and outspoken at the same time, which, once again, if you watch the video, I clearly state, oh wait, they're just ambiverted. I mean, could I have made it any clearer? This is all fine and good, but I think you made one mistake. You said that most of the issues are because of laziness, and that just isn't true. Maybe it is sometimes, but not normally. You don't really know how the person feels in real life or what's going on with them. Furthermore, once this becomes someone's full-time job, there is a pressure to keep up with the algorithm. A quality job and extra stuff is the only way that is possible. No, I think there's a nice balance between keeping up a consistent level of quality and a consistent schedule to keep up with the algorithm. I think once it becomes someone's full-time job, that should put on more pressure to them to keep up the animation and to stop being so lazy because this is your full-time job. If you have a proper job, you can't just be like, oh, well, it's my full-time job now, I guess I can stop being so, I guess I can stop working so hard, I can just be lazy about it. No, that doesn't happen. Is to preface this statement, I am not a YouTuber, but the one I disagree with this video is the collaboration with other YouTubers part. This is because most successful YouTubers only start making real money once they get shoutouts from their community leaders or the rank below that. The first thing that comes to mind is Jacksepticeye was shouted out by winning a video contest by PewDiePie that led to Jacksepticeye's career on YouTube. I remember there are other situations similar to that too. I understand why you feel like bigger YouTuber shoutouts is the easy way to make views, but that is how business works. If a company wants to build their brand, they might want to sponsor an upcoming business so they can build a positive relationship to support profits on both sides. Another idea is that most people get the first jobs through association, such as getting a fast food job from having a friend that works at that fast food restaurant puts in a good word for you. Also, once someone graduates college or university, they might use a business professor to land a job with local business, since most business preppers have a side job in the business, either local or more distant location. So that's basically just saying, I don't know, like that all stuff is just examples, but the main part is here. I've got no problem with someone collabing with another channel, like a proper collab. Like, this isn't directed towards Storytime Animators either. Fucking my lord and savior Turkey Tom does this shit as well. He got Mumkey to record like 1 minute worth of dialogue and was like, "Feet Mumkey Jones." Like, come on, Turkey Tom, you fucking cock. Why'd you do that? I think if it's an actual collab, like the two people actually work together on a video and it's sort of like half and half each person, then that's completely fine. But I think a shout out doesn't always work. It's short term. They're gonna go watch your content, go like, oh, this is with someone else that I like, and then they're gonna watch a video that's just on you in their own, and they might be like, oh, so I don't really like this. I liked it because the other person was there. And they might stop watching your stuff. There, you've got an empty subscriber there because of that. And lastly, which I can't believe was a real comment, I was taken aback when I saw this. I just had to sit and think for a minute. Mark, you have valid points, except for the character color with no background. You do the same thing. So, here we have a person, an actual human being, I don't think this is a robot, who actually thought that my little version of the theodd1sout's character was my real avatar. And me having the white background was actually what I always do. First of all, the thumbnail clearly shows my different avatar. Second of all, in the first couple seconds of the video, it clearly shows my other avatar, my main one, the one that I actually use in my videos. Third of all, I clearly make a joke about me just being in a white void, clearly showing that I'm aware that it's stupid for them to do that. The whole point of me designing my character to be like the theodd1sout and putting myself in a white void, a literal white void, was to just show, the whole video was just a parody of the theodd1sout style. That was the whole point. And for this person to comment this, well, at least going, maybe I'll click on his last video to see if this is actually what he does, is completely retarded. And I was going to reply to this, but I don't think this person deserves a reply. To wrap things up, the responses from the community were surprisingly mature to what I expected, and with some creators in particular, it gives me a lot more respect for them. I think this is because I was less rude in my video than in other videos and tried to be fair to everyone, even if my tone was sort of abrasive for entertainment purposes, and honestly, it was great to see. The comments were, ugh. There were a few valid criticisms which I showed here, but the rest are either furiously trying to tear into me with no holding back, or basically jerking off my massive ego with just as much ferocity, which felt good, not gonna lie. I came every time. What the fuck, Tom? How can I copy your scripts when you write shit like this in them? Well, until next time. I'm only doing this because Tom did in his video. Isn't that right, Sonic? What the fuck?